Hey, I'm hanging out with Ginny Albert. How you doing?
How are you?
Good, and thanks for sitting down and talking with me. She is a romance suspense writer and an artist, and she's currently a student here at Georgia State.
Yes.
How you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we're going to get right into it here with her writing career, which is something she's been doing for a very long time. And her first book, entitled Which Man? You published this yourself, I understand.
Mm-hmm, I did.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about the book and what inspired you to write this.
Well, actually, I had loved romantic suspense when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, and when I began writing just snippets of work, I began to feel very comfortable with it, and as time went on, my short stories became long stories, so I realized I could not be a short story writer. So I just kept going, and finally I got to a point where I felt comfortable enough with one of my works to self-publish.
How many books do you have currently that you have?
I have another that's completed.
Okay.
In fact, I have two that's completed. One I'm very enthusiastic about. The other still needs work.
As an artist, and we're going to come back to your writing again. We're going to talk a little more about that. I want to get into you as an artist for a second, because your work is already out there on art panels, on mouse pads, and also under
T-shirts.
T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you were doing over the years as well as writing? That's a parallel career for you.
Oddly, my intent was to be a fashion designer.
Okay.
But when I went to New York, I actually attended Parsons School of Fashion Design. Mm-hmm. But it is a very, very difficult industry to break into, particularly for African Americans. And at that time, there was just Willie Smith. So I just felt that I didn't want Calvin Klein's name to go on my designs. I wanted my name to go on my designs. So I felt okay by dropping that by the wayside, and I'm still okay with it.
I understand you have another step involved with your book already. You're turning it into a screenplay.
Yes, it is a screenplay.
It is a screenplay now.
Yes.
It's already completed.
It's already completed.
Tell us a bit about how that transition happened. Was that just a natural thing for you to go into wanting to take it to another level for your story?
Actually, I was tired of the kinds of African American films that were out there, and people had been telling me that they were just sick of the run-of-the-mill things. They wanted romance. They wanted just slice-of-life type things that had nothing to do with drugs or prostitutes or hoes or anything like that. They wanted just suspense. They wanted good filmmaking. And because I'm a writer and I felt that that book should be a film, and people have been telling me that it should be a film, I decided to start taking film classes. And as a result, became a film major, and I've taken a lot of other classes. I took one that allowed me to learn how to adapt the novel to the screenplay. So that's how it happened. I wanted to do something different and that would make people happy, and myself as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to get more into her background, because this young lady has done a lot. She went to New York. She was in school there.
Yes. And
she was in off-Broadway plays, and she did a lot of Shakespearean plays. I want her to touch base on that a little bit as well, because she's not just new into getting into this, she's professional. Go ahead and tell me a little about some of the plays you did in New York.
Well, oddly enough, I was one of the few African Americans at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, and I excelled at Shakespeare, and I simply loved it. I consider myself a classical actress. And because, once again, that's sort of a closed thing as well, I decided that I was okay doing character roles, but at the same time, I got to be more and more interested in doing things behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And as the writing started to take hold, it was as if I realized that I would prefer to do that than be in front of the camera.
Okay. So what drew you to Georgia State? Again, was it the film program here that made you decide to come from New York to Georgia State to continue on with your career?
I didn't come right away. What happened is I knew Carol Mitchell-Leon, which everybody knows who passed away recently, at the Alliance Theater, and we did a couple of classes together. Mm-hmm. And I decided that I wanted to expand my career in terms of just investigating. because I wound up doing one of my short stories became a screenplay early in the 90s, and it was called The Dream Man. So I wound up working with another Georgia State student, and we shot The Dream Man. And after I had that experience, that was when the light bulb sort of went off. It was like, wow, the casting call was so much fun. I enjoyed listening to those actors. It was fun watching them. It was great making the choices. It was great listening. It was great hearing my words coming back at me, and it was like, this is something I might do. But I didn't go to school right away. I waited until after I had been in corporate America and decided that that simply was not for me. So I had already been here, I liked the vibe, and I decided to come here.
Well, we're glad to have you here. And again, she's also working with GSTV.
Yes.
How's it working with GSTV? How do you like working with stuff?
GSTV has been such an eye-opener, and that's where we met, at GSTV. And the young people there are so energetic and so full of life and so talented. They've taught me a lot, and because I have a long history, I've taught them as well. So GSTV is up and coming and growing, and just by leaps and bounds. And it's a great springboard for anyone who wants to do film.
Again, talking with Ginny Albert, romance suspense novel writer, turned it into a screenplay, published her own book, made the transition to filmmaker, and currently a film major. With film, is there any directors or writers you inspired you to become a film major, or did you just naturally transition to want to be a film major to bring your own work into film?
I guess I would have to say I have not been that impressed with any of the ones who are out there. That's why I've decided I want to do it myself. And I'm working also with a young student by the name of Heather Yates. She's helping me to make a trailer for Which Man.
Okay.
And I am very confident that she is the kind of a young director that I would like to use in the future works that I would produce. So I feel I already have my director. And I don't watch a lot of other people's stuff. I prefer to be as fresh and original as I can be.
Again, thank you for coming on and talking to us.
Thank you so very much.
We look forward to following your career, checking out your work, your writing, and seeing your films
Thank
come
you
to
so
light.
much.
Right here at Georgia State GSTV station. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks so
Ginny
much.
Albert.